Yay, we're live, Friday Night Feels! Woo! Every time I say a prayer, just like, please, dear God, just let it work. Just let it work. So, welcome to
Hell
Friday
yeah.
Night Feels. I am licensed mental health counselor Patrick Monette, and I'm so excited to be here tonight. I have an amazing guest. But for people who might be new, Friday Night Feels was a show I created over a year ago now, when the pandemic really took over, and it's become one of the most amazing, humbling, beautiful experiences I ever could have experienced, of meeting people from all over the world who have these amazing, incredible adventures, and of helping people, and their story of healing and recovery, and journeys and growth, and different things that people have helped them. And just a reminder for people who are new as well, is this is Friday Night Feels. Is you can find it on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Patrick Monette Counseling, and it's also in a podcast platform through all the major ones, Spotify and Apple. So tonight I have an amazing gentleman who is joining us tonight. I'd like to introduce you to Philip Anthony Mangan, who is also known as the Wellness Wingman, who focuses on helping overwhelmed women lose weight, regain control through their daily personalized support. He's a model, commercial actor, environmental activist, and a certified personal trainer and fitness nutrition specialist. He is the founder of a holistic health and wellness coaching business that focuses on providing people with clarity, control, confidence that they need to help to make lasting changes in their lives. He has a 3-step method that emphasizes that building simple and consistent self-care habits are the key to success by encompassing the practices of slowing down, quieting the noise, and opening your mind. So I am so excited, Philip, to have you on Friday Night Feels. So welcome.
Woo! Thank you for having me. I'm ready to feel all the feels.
Oh my God, giddy up. And it's really funny because Philip and I were just talking, because he's and hopefully we'll get to some of his adventures, traveler all the time, but we're in the same state tonight. So New York is represented. New York
in the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're at the complete opposite end. So hey, it's really funny.
We got the whole state covered.
Listen, well, there's a lot to do. They need both of us, right? They need both ends to represent it.
There's plenty to go around.
So one thing, and I always promote people, and I'll post this when I post the video, following him on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. And I was just talking to him about how much I love his social media posts. And I'm not going to say all the stuff he does, because he does some really fun stuff that just kind of like pulls you in. But one of the things of, Philip and I talked, it was almost like 2 months ago, I think, on the phone, just to kind of get to know each other. And it just was like the nicest conversation of just getting to know someone. And I'm just, can't wait to share your story with the people who listen and watch the show. So super excited. Did I freeze?
Nah, appreciate it. Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm freezing a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, you're freezing a little bit.
Sorry about that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this amazing company and everything that you do to really help people in their wellness and their healing journey?
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I started my coaching. I've learned a lot throughout my journey so far, and just kind of wanted to pick one back to the health and wellness aspect of things, because I believe that's like just the foundation of most of our lives. If you want to make other changes, it all starts with making that change to you. Mm-hmm. And so when I kind of started really creating it and trying to conceptualize where I wanted to take it, it took probably several months for me to really find my voice in the manner of how I wanted to make myself unique. But I realized a lot of the things that I was learning, everyone else is learning the same things. It was just like, my story is what makes me unique. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to start owning more of my complete story, because when I moved to New York about in 2016, I was running a party bus business prior to that for like 7 years. And I think when I moved to New York, I kind of almost wanted to forget that side of me a little bit, because I was acting very mindless at the time, and I was really kind of channeling the self growth moving forward. So when I started really kind of engaging the whole coaching thing, I realized how important it was to show all the sides to my story. And from there, I really kind of took it more in the direction of what works best for me. What have I learned along the way that has really helped me boost myself, especially since I don't have a 9-to-5 job, and how am I going to feel like I'm in control of my life? I get the same different things with people. Like, I feel overwhelmed all the time, with all the information that's out there. And I just happen to have, maybe because I didn't have a 9-to-5 job and I was in more control of my time, I had the time to learn a lot of things that people didn't, like whether it was about health and nutrition. And I really harnessed that and saying like, all right, I'm going to take this information and provide it to people. And then also not just what I learned in a book, but what I've learned in life experience. So the main thing is really, I try to help people regain control of their life through helping them identify what the problem areas are. And a lot of times it is because people can't see the problems is because they're moving too quickly. That's why I say slow down is the number one thing. And then quieting the noise is the second, step to my process, because it's like, there's so much noise out there. How can you even know which direction is best for you? I think when we think of goals, sometimes we don't even realize like what our goals are. Sometimes we're just basing it off what society's telling us, and so I think those are two important steps. And then when you can actually do that, you can open your mind. So when you're slowing down and quieting the noise, you can open your mind to what it is that you want and why you want it, and maybe what it is that you actually need to change. So that's kind of where the foundation is of everything that I do for people. And the main thing actually in general is I help them create a plan. I help them form their schedule to where they feel more in control of it, their sleep schedule, their morning routine. I help them, identify the problem areas of their diet, identify the problem areas of their life where they're not putting up boundaries with people, different things like that. Just the little things that we're going to make changes, but then I help them stay consistent by really providing them that daily support. When I work with my clients, it's not like here's a plan and good luck. It's
it's like cookie cutter.
Exactly. And it's like, this is customized for you, and this is what we're going to do this together, because when you're alone, you lack confidence. And I know that because I've tried to do many things alone and it did not work out. Or at least if it did work out, it took a lot of time and effort for me, and a lot of things that I had to do that I didn't necessarily want to do. So I'm really all about that personalized attention to people, and I want to be on your journey with you until you can fly on your own.
Right.
And it honestly fulfills me so much watching my clients just like feel like the changes to their life, and then see the growth that they're getting, whether it's on the scale or just in life in general. I think that's the beauty, is really being able to give someone that can have someone like a greater connection, rather than, I don't want to be your coach, like I want to actually be like where I'm your wingman. That's why I call myself the Wellness Wingman. It's like,
which I love that name.
Thank you.
Love it.
So like a wingman. It's like, if you think about a wingman, like you go out with your friend and he's like maybe helping you pick up a girl or something. That's your friend. I'm invested into like that. I want to connect with you on that emotional, level, to where I feel like I'll be connected with you for life after that, because I want to see you keep thriving after you stop using me, because my goal is to get you in and out.
Right. And I think I love what you said, especially about when people are overwhelmed, because there is so much out there. There's so many experts, there's so many books, there's so many, and when you're trying to improve yourself, it's, it kind of reminds me sometimes of like the 90s, where they were all like the fad diets, and you're like, oh, do I just take this pill? Do I just do this? Do I do this cleanse? And then it's like, and then what happens is that only doesn't work, but then it reinforces that shame, that failure, that fear of okay, then I'm destined to be overweight, to be unhappy, to not have success. And I think having someone like you, the Wingman, I just love that name. Just being able to say, you can do this. And I know in my own personal experiences, I was just sharing this with someone the other day of, I was doing this workout class once, and they were doing this exercise, and I just couldn't get it. Like I kept hitting that resistance. And I remember one woman in the class just said, Patrick, you can do this. We believe in you. And I was like, it was like someone put a superpower in me. I was like, and then I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like someone believes in me. It was amazing. And so, and even when you're talking about it, I can just see it, of that excitement, that joy. When you're working with your clients, I can tell that you connect with them, and that seeing them having their joy, and that you've had that humble part of it is priceless.
It honestly inspires me to see them making the changes, because it makes me want to keep going on my own journey and keep growing on at another level. So like, they're actually fueling me, even though like I'm fueling them at many times. They're actually, it's reciprocated.
Right. And I think sometimes people don't know that, because I know when I've gone for help or something, like in my mind, I'm like, here's an expert, like way up here. You do the comparison game, which I think a lot of us do. And I'm just like a train wreck, or that garbage thing, like on fire. And the idea of that, and I think it's really important for clients to know, whatever field you're working in with people, it's, you're doing it because people do inspire us. And I just think that's an important part of the journey, that every time they show up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's if you're just doing it for, I think people are good at spotting the BS. I think they know if they're getting something authentic, and they know if someone really wants to help them or not. And I think because a lot of people are out there, and you can kind of tell. Like, I can watch videos of people trying to promote their thing, or coaches, and you see that there's not really a greater connection to it. And I hope, I hope people could spot it, because I don't want people to feel like they tried that, doesn't work, and maybe there is someone out there that could actually help them on the level that they need to, but they're more scared that they're going to make another bad choice. So I really hope that if people are out there that are listening, take the time, do the research, and honestly, don't give anyone any money until you talk to them.
Right, and test it out.
Yeah, test it out. Honestly, that's the one thing I always offer. I give people a free 30-minute coaching call, and hey, if it's a good fit, good fit. If not, no harm done. I got to connect with you.
Right. I kind of look at it, it's almost like ice cream. You go and you get a free sample, and the first one may not be good, but you're not gonna give up on ice cream. You're gonna keep going because you want to get that flavor that you really like.
I like that.
I think sometimes people just, I know in my own experiences is sometimes when I've tried like to reach out, or to better myself, how hard it is to find someone who's available, who's flexible, who is sincere and authentic. And it's funny when you were mentioning that, I've seen videos and read books by famous experts, right? But when I read their stuff, I don't get any warmth. I don't get any sincerity. And to me, in my mind just shuts off. I'm like, if you're not authentic in what you're doing, I can't connect to that, because I need that. I need that for my healing, for my journey, to be able to go to a new level.
Same. And I think that's when we know what we need as people, and then as we take on to be coaches or mentors, etc. I think it's really, we want to provide that to others, because we know that there's a desire for it. If we need it, then we must know that other people need it too. So I think that's kind of where it came from. Like, everything that I offer people is because I've wanted it or needed it at some point in time.
Right. And what's really interesting is, and I've talked about this in other episodes of the show, is in therapy itself, and being in the mental health fields, how many professionals I've met or encountered who don't see the value of vulnerability, who think because they've gone to school and they get the degree that they don't need they don't need a coach, they don't need a support. Like, what is the therapist going to tell me? I've read all the books. And so they're missing. I don't know if you've encountered that, like people, and it's like, because you're human, having a human experience. That's why we need him.
Exactly. I honestly, like when I started doing therapy, like right around when the pandemic started, it was like just a game changer, and maybe even more important because of what we were all going through at that time.
Right.
But at the same time, it just made me realize like it's just nice to talk to someone and then listen. And that's the bottom line. It's like at the end of the day, like even when like even if I'm like offering coaching to someone, sometimes it's just people want to be heard because maybe their friends and family, they're not listening to them the way that they want to be listened to. And that's what I'm trying to give to people as well, is like where, hey, I'm going to be that support system that they can't be for you. Yeah, they're supportive of you in many different ways, but there's also professionals like yourself out there that are going to support you differently. And I think that's where people kind of miss the mark, is they don't realize that just support is not just one area. It can be in different fashions.
Yeah, and I think the more we talk about this, and that's what I love about having the platform of Friday Night Feels, is being able to get the word out there. You know, I've had discussions with a lot of friends, and I don't know if you've encountered this, but you know, resistance or stereotypes about coaching itself. And I know years ago, and like the stereotypical life coach, quote unquote, would be, you know, in the movies with the celebrities of like, you're not drinking a latte today, you need to go down and, you know, so
Yeah,
that's what, you know, growing up, I saw it in the movies. But
same.
okay, yeah, but it's amazing. It's an amazing field, and the more colleagues in as therapists are getting more involved with coaching, because they're really seeing the value of it, because it is very different than therapy.
No, yeah, 100%. Like, and I know that from my therapist, like firsthand, because she's just like, you know, she helps me, you know, with I talk about my coaching a lot and the issues I'm going through, trying to build it and different things, and then she kind of shows me the separation of like what therapists can do and then what life coach can do, and it's a big difference, honestly. You can't really talk about your personal stuff as a therapist, correct?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
supposed to be careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Self-disclosure stuff.
Yeah. So then as a life coach, you know, you can share, like that's a big part of me. I'm sharing my experience, and this is what I've went through here. Like you're not the only one going through it too. And this is what I've used to get out of that, you know, or direct myself.
And I think that's invaluable, of having someone you can rely on who not only supports you, but can challenge you in a different way, and also say, hey, you're not alone in this. And I think that's, you know, going to what you were introducing of your 3-step process, is that slowing down, because I think we live in a world where that's counterintuitive now. And the idea of, even when I ask people, sometimes I'll start a session or a group, and I'll say, can we just take a deep breath? And they look at me like crazy, but then they do. I said, no, I need you to take a deep breath, like fill that belly.
Yeah.
And you just see, it's like, you know, because my mind, you know, I have a dash of ADD, so my mind can go 1,000 miles a minute. But I know that's going to lead to destruction. I know that's going to lead to chaos. So I really appreciate that that's a fundamental part of your program, because I think we need it. I mean, I know I do. I crave that, of slowing down and being able to reconnect with myself, right?
Yeah, no, it's and it's what's great. I'm glad you know, you realize it, that you need it, and how powerful it is, because, you know, when the pandemic hit, you know, I think it forced people to slow down, but they didn't want to. They were resistant to it, you know, because it's like, hey, you got to go and be at home. You can't go out. You have to, you know, slow down basically. And I mean, you can hear all the noise, you can have the news on all day, but you got to slow down. And people were kind of, they didn't know what to do with themselves. So, you know, that's why I think there's a lot of resistance to like, hey, we want to get back, reopen America. Cause it's like, no, why don't we use this as a blessing to actually kind of see what might be any issues that we haven't been able to slow down. You're getting a gift.
Right. And I agree with you. I'm a little stubborn. I'm a Cancer, and Irish and French, so I'm a little stubborn. But I can say, like, when you know, how it affected my mental health is, I really like I turned to food, and I've talked about that a lot on the show. That was like I think a lot of people did. Like people were
Mhm.
making bread because that's all they could do, or just
Oh
eating.
yeah.
And I just remember one day, like sitting on the couch of thinking, so I talk about wellness all day at work. I created the show to talk about wellness, and I'm not practicing it. And it was kind of like one of those, oh shit, that insight of like once you say it, you can't go back.
Yeah. No, I mean, at least you know, you were able to catch it. That's the main thing is I think a lot of times people just keep blocking it of like, that insight they get and that feeling, like even if there is a small desire or an ounce of desire, I think they're quicker to pushing that down and not listening to that message. So at least like, you're able to kind of pull yourself out of that realm, because that's that's a powerful thing. If you can actually, that's where I believe like a lot of my coaching kind of goes through is like, this is what we're going to do, but we're going to do this on repeat because you want to stay in tune to yourself as much as possible. It's not like you're not going to deal with these issues, but you're just going to be able to catch it quicker,
Right.
and then
Right.
guide yourself out of there.
Right. And I think sometimes too, having someone such as yourself to be able to talk to helps heal that shame that's so toxic to so many of us. That just shuts us down. Like for example, when I made that revelation of just kind of
Mm.
saying, um, "Holy shit, I'm not supposed to talk about this." But
Mm.
then something inside of me has said, "I need to talk about this because that's what's keeping me sick."
Mm.
And being able to reach out and say, let's, who else feels this way?
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think we have to find a way to deal with the shame no matter what. I mean, like, and I think by sitting by ourselves, it's never gonna get resolved. That's the main thing. Is
Right.
like, we're gonna keep digging ourselves a ditch, and then it's gonna be in that circular
Right.
fashion of just like, shame will feed more shame in
Right.
that way. Yeah.
Right. So coaching is just one of the many things that you do, right? You wear
Yeah.
many fascinating hats.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like I was really big into before like the pandemic of like, trying to flash all these like labels, like I'm this and this, and I got to a point where it's just like there's just too many. I can't like say that, and also it's like, and I was like more so I'm just a person, like,
Hmm.
and that's all I really want to be like. This is me, and so even like putting the model thing, like yes, I am a model, yes, I am like an activist, but it's like for me, it's more of like when you hear those things, it's I don't want people to say like, oh, they put me in this category
Hmm.
of this is that. So I really try to get away from the labels as much as possible, but at the same time, all those labels define me, I realize, and
Right. They're
and
part of
and
your
they're
story.
they're pieces of me, and I'm very proud to have those labels because I've put myself in the forefront of like being able to take risk in actually learning and to actually, like I went to Hawaii to farm, for when the pandemic hit. I went there for 5 months and I learned how to farm. So I call
Wow.
myself Farmer Phil. And it's like, so it's like, it's funny because it was like, did I ever think that I would be a farmer at some point? No, but it's cool because once you start putting those labels on, you start realizing that you can do anything
Right.
because there's nothing holding you back. Maybe you can't do it the better than anyone else, but you're still a farmer if you took the time and you learn and you enjoy it. I love it. I
Right.
mean, honestly, I'm not a full-time farmer, but I would love to have some land of my own and have a food forest one day.
That would be awesome, and we need to get back to that because that's fascinating to me. But can I? I just got to ask. It's filter free Friday. I hope this is okay. So
Yeah,
how does like because when you talk about modeling and you talk about different things like that, that's its whole other another world that people
yeah.
normally don't correlate to. Oh, you're a model in a coach, in a wellness coach, but it sounds like everything that you're telling me is really about you're breaking all of these boxes and you're like, no, this is just me. Like I enjoy
uh,
this, so I'm gonna do it. And I like this,
yeah,
and I'm gonna do and I
yeah.
think that's inspirational to me, and it must be to your clients as well and the people in your life.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I think like I've just been more, I think I'm more me than I've ever been before. I think that's the best way to put it. And I think it just by taking the time to get to know myself and to give myself this love. Like I haven't dated anyone seriously in 6 years. So I think that's probably played a big part in it of, like we're always kind of not saying that I don't want to date anyone, but for many years it was kind of like I just want to focus on me and get to know me. And then so whenever I do find that the person I want to spend my life with or whatever, that I'm not thinking that they have to complete me, like I'm like, good, I'm independent, I can handle, I know I'm in control of my feelings. It's only like, okay, if I meet this, amazing girl, like, hey, it's just like we're bettering each other on a grander scale. We're good without each other, but then we're better together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to, I think that's really important because so many people think, well, you complete me. And it's like, no. I am complete and you compliment and we do really well together. We dance together. I think that's much, much healthier.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think that's the thing is most people, they don't take the time to get to know themselves and how they actually, of what they want and who they are. And then like 10, 20 years into the relationship, they have this like, they call it a midlife crisis or something. And then they start trying to figure these things out. And then they realize, well, maybe that wasn't really me, with this person. And there becomes issues. So I'd rather get to know me as much as I can, and then be sure that this is exactly what I want. This is, aligned to it, et cetera. But, I think it's flipped because society pushes that onto us of, go to school, get a job, get married, have kids, and then you're following that path. And I never was drawn to that. That never appealed to me of following that method. It just kind of, because I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I think that's probably why I have a lot of labels, because I never knew what I wanted to do. So now it's really about, I want to try everything.
Right.
I want to try things if that interests me. Like when the pandemic hit and I got really interested in the farming stuff, I want to go try that.
Right.
And I want to go dive into it and really see if that's something that might fit. And it's amazing when you actually take that mentality and you dive into something because you just want to see where it goes, rather than being like, well, this is because it would make me more money, or this is because, society's telling me that this is something. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And have you ever faced resistance to that mentality of where people or family or friends will say, you should really do a 9 to 5, or you should, house, picket fence, 2.5 kids and his dog and a cat? Did you ever get that pressure, or did you?
Yeah, I did. And I felt like I put pressure on myself too. I felt like for a while, because I have 2 brothers, and my older brother, he's only a year older than me, and he married his high school sweetheart, and he has 3 kids, and he got a job right, like straight out of college. He knew what he was going to do. My younger brother is always very smart and knew exactly what he kind of was going to do, and then he recently got married, and so just being around family that's like that. And then even my parents, they've grown up, and my dad's an accountant, and he's done that in very straight edge in many ways of like, this is how life is. So then to see me not fit that mold, I almost felt like, well, what's wrong with me? And then I had to kind of realize that there's nothing wrong with me. It's like, it's not, that works for them. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to work for me. And so, yeah, I felt that pressure for a while, because also, I'm 38 years old. I'm turning 39 next month, and think about like, oh, well, when I feel like it has to be time sometime soon, and then it's like, but the thing is, like, you have to let go of, I realize you have to let go of that, because if you're putting a time frame, a time stamp on it, that means you're forcing it. And then that's not going to do you any good in the long run. So because I realized forcing doesn't get you anywhere. But so I'm kind of really more lax with it. And the more especially this past year has been really big into it, is like, I just feel like whatever I desire, like if I desire a greater love and I desire that family, etc., it's like, just keep giving myself that love and it will come. And I start seeing so much more possibilities with connecting with like amazing women that, you know, like in my life, and just being like, that never was like that before, because I was more closed off and I was more like, you know, channeling this scarcity of like on time. So I think now the more that I'm kind of just in this like flow state, that's when I feel like things are starting to click a little bit more.
And that's just so amazing. I love that. That's so cool. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
I'm just being able to, you know, I'm the youngest in my family, so I was lucky as well. Of I think my parents thought as long as he's safe, we're okay. Like, you know, because I like to travel, so I'd be like, oh, hey, I'm going to Nicaragua for a while, or hey, I'm going to, you know, I'm
Nice.
going to go live in South America. And they were like, okay, we're okay with that. But I think because I was the youngest, they were just kind of tired.
Yeah, they're probably like,
Just send a
the other one.
postcard. We're good. You know, call every once in a while. So
Awesome.
yeah. So tell me more about Hawaii. I forgot that you and I talked about that on the phone. I would love to hear more about that. So farming in a pandemic in Hawaii. I love it.
Yeah. No, honestly, it was 2020 was probably one of my best years of my life, you know, and I think that's kind of uh I've been in a situation before when things go wrong. And I think I'm really channeling this mentality right now that like I've been pretty much at rock bottom and I survived. So I'm not afraid to go back to rock bottom. It's
Right.
not like I have this, you know, fear of being, because I know I can handle it down there.
Right.
So especially now, I'm harnessing that mentality more than ever with the risks that I'm taking of like, no, yeah, I want to do this. And if it doesn't work, it's okay. At least I tried to put that forth, that effort. And when the pandemic hit, I remember, and everything got shut down. And I left New York, went back down to Florida, stayed with my family. And I remember my mom asking me like, what are you going to do? And I literally told her like with seriousness, I said, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. And I literally said that. And I truly meant it, because in 2008, I lost my job from like in the economy was really bad at that time, and I got laid off. And that's when I created my party bus business out of that. And that ended up being like, you know, a 6-7 year thing that I ran for. And it became, you know, it provided for me, etc. But so I've been in that similar place. So when something bad happens, that, you know, you can actually make something really good out of it. And I just use my 3-step process, basically, you know, slowing down, quieting the noise, opening my mind, like what am I feeling right now? And when I saw people panic buying in the stores, I really had this like aha moment where I'm thinking like, wow, like we are panic buying because we don't know how to survive. If the food didn't stop showing up, we don't know how to survive. And I really got interested in gardening, and I was always kind of interested in it, but I really dove into it and created a garden at my parents' house. And I remember seeing this program, this work trade program, about a year and a half prior, and I saved the link to it, and I said, I'm going to do this one day. And it's just like, as soon as the pandemic hit, I had it in my mind, I'm doing this right now. This is the time. And so I signed up for the thing, like, and I thought like, wow, there's farms everywhere. I can go anywhere. And I started looking at Hawaii, and even my dad, when I told my dad about it, he's like, man, I would do that. I would do Hawaii, because they went and visited Hawaii, like I think two years prior to that. And I was thinking like, yeah, that sounds pretty nice, you know, and I never thought even about going to Hawaii ever, like in my life. I never was like, oh, I want to go to Hawaii. So I was fortunate, because I think when you are open and you're listening and, you know, you're following that flow, things start to click. And no farms were open, you know, to take new people in for Hawaii because of their restrictions there. But one of them reached out to me. I didn't even reach out to them. And it was a new, like you know, up and coming farm. They wanted to like really kind of expand, and they didn't really have anything planted except for some fruit trees. And the lady was vegan, and she liked my profile. And, you know, I talked to her, and probably about 2 weeks later, and right around this time in June last year, I was on a plane going to Maui.
Aloha.
And, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it was honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. And even kind of when I say about being open to, trying new things. Like there was a lot of resistance for me to even go out there. I was really scared because I was just,
Yeah.
middle of the pandemic.
Yep.
I've just been in the comfort of my family, and then I'm going to go 14 hours into this remote location where I don't know anyone. I was channeling a lot of fear at the time, but then I thought to myself, why would I not want to do something that challenges me like that? I want to face that fear. And so I know that I can handle it. And I really had that kind of internal like talk with myself. And, when I went out there, as soon as I got out there, I was like, wow, this feels right. This is exactly, I'm glad I did this. And I didn't even have a set plan, to be honest. I was just like, I'm going to go for a month and see what happens. And I get out there, and pretty much the lady gave me full range to kind of figure things out with the farming.
Wow.
She didn't really know much. So she was just like, I trust you. And since I've, created things, I created my own business, I've kind of created my own coaching thing,
Right.
She's like, you're a self-starter. Like, I trust you. So I was like out there just like, working the land, going like in my free time, then like watching YouTube videos, connecting with other local farmers, all these different things. And it was really awesome on that level of learning. But I think, to be honest, like I realized that at a big point in like time out there, I was like probably like 2 months in, I was thinking like, man, I'm really not just planting, vegetables out here now. I'm planting myself. I'm learning how to grow myself on this grander scale. And it was honestly really beautiful, because a lot of what I teach people now in my coaching, I see a lot of the things I had to face out there, challenges, with other people or on the farm, and how I had to like, set boundaries and do these different things. And I see it like now come full circle, because I'm actually being able to provide that information to other people. And but yeah, honestly, Hawaii was a blessing. It made me realize that at the very, very, I think as a man, I've always felt this pressure to provide, to be honest. And that's something that I think maybe it was at the beginning why I didn't date for 6 years. I was really feeling like, how am I going to provide for someone or provide for family? And I always put that pressure on myself even greater, because I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to be able to like, I'm good. I can take care of people. And when I was out there, I really had this greater connection to realizing like, this is the true meaning of providing. Like I can provide, I can grow food for my family. Like I know like I'll be okay if anything goes down, and I can take care of someone. So my whole like mentality shifted on providing for people. And I think when I had that, that just gave me a lot of confidence to go when I came back here, and realizing that no matter what happens, like I said, I know I'll be okay. And that I could really take care of people, because I know I'm not channeling fear like when it comes to things. So I think if something happens, like I will find a way. That's the best way to put it.
And I think a lot of people stay in the fear, and they don't know, one of the things that I try to teach people that I work with is learning how to invite the fear in the way of saying, it's like, hey, I hear you, I see you. The fear is there trying to, in a way, keep us safe. The message is just coming in through a distorted way. So if I can say, or help someone say, yeah, the fear, it's okay, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And the answers usually to help people through those blockages and those moments of resistance usually are the most simplistic, love-based messages of like, hey, you're not alone. I'm your wingman. I'm with you. Like, you're not alone in this journey. And, I think I love that idea of, when you were talking about, I talk a lot about like the man box and the expectations and the socializations of the expectations of what it means to be a man, right? And when we fail in any of those, it just totally questions our man card. And being able to say, yeah, I want to provide, which, I think we all grow up with that surface level of, house and car, and so you don't have to work and all this. But it sounds like you were able to have this amazing journey of no, I was able to create. I was able to go deep.
Yeah.
And that through love is an amazing way to provide. with someone,
Yeah.
not for them.
No. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I mean, like I want to be able to provide on like, monetary wise, and, it takes a lot of stress out of things. But I think if by putting pressure on yourself that you're only going to get love in that way, I think I was doing that for a while, like being like, I don't deserve love if I don't have the things to provide.
Right. I have
And
to be
so,
worthy of it.
yeah, exactly. And I think I held that in front of me for a while. By going out there and having that experience, I realized like that does not define who I am. If the money in my pocket does not define who I am, it's like I'm so much more than that. And just going and doing these different things that I've done, putting myself and facing the fear and all those different things. It really is, I think personally, what people find more attractive anyways at the end of the day.
Definitely. And I'm sure that is a integral part of your coaching.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really about showing people that they are more than, like even if they, if they have a like weight they want to lose, it's most people aren't feeling like they're worthy of love because they have this weight. And that is not a reflect. That's not who you are. And it really, we go deep in the coaching a lot, but it's always great things, because I think you have to go deep, just like what I'm sure you do, in order to change the trajectory of things. And, when people start seeing that, and I always say, lean towards the good feeling. Stop looking at how far you have to go or what you don't have. Like, look at all the things that are working for you. So when I start making changes, into people's diets or whatever lifestyle, and they start doing it consistently, I'm like, how do you feel? Well, like, and I always say that, how do you feel? And it's like, I want them to harness that feeling, because most of the time they're going to be feeling good. And so run with that, keep running with that, because then that will start reflecting on the outside. If you keep, because that's going to keep motivating you to keep going.
Right. And that ties in perfectly with your model of, because you have to slow down to feel. And then you have to feel it. Where is it in your body? I always love that question. It's like, where do I feel in my body? It's like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, just take it. What's your best guess? And it's because it's the faster we go. I saw someone post something the other day about, our culture in the States of, for that American dream, or to survive, we have to have 3 jobs and kill ourselves and go faster and faster. But then we kill ourselves or we burn out, and we never really get to enjoy the fruit of our labor.
Yeah, I saw a post about that as well the other day, and it was about like, I'll try to sum it up best. It was like a fisherman, and he was on this little small boat, and he just a little like rowboat, I guess you'd say. Then this other guy, he comes in on a ship, and he's like, well, why are you doing this? And he's, and the guy in the rowboat is really happy, and he's like, channeling that, and the guy in the bigger boat's telling him like, well, you can have, if you had a bigger boat, you can do this. If you had to do this and you do this. And he's like, well, why would I want all that when I could be happy right now? And that was like the moral of the story. And that's kind of like my mentality. That's really been my mentality since I've really got out of college and started trying like, things in the workforce, is the money. Yeah, I want money. Like I want, I want, I want, I want to.
You need it.
Yeah, exactly. Money makes things easier,
to
be honest. But I always valued my time and my happiness and what I'm doing over money. So, and sometimes that doesn't yield the money right away. But and then you can look at like you're lacking, especially when other people have the money. So I think for a while I was in that realm of kind of seeing like, even though I was feeling good and, my party bus business, just, having a lot of fun with that. And then even getting into, I don't think it was really until I moved to New York until like I really was thinking like, because you're surrounded by so much money here, and you're looking at all the things that you don't have. But at the end of the day, it never appealed to me. Like I have 2 business degrees. I have 6 years running my own business. I don't want a 9-to-5 job. And I can be making 6 figures with that. but that's not happiness to me.
Right.
And even though like you have the money, my time is happiness, and doing what I choose to do is my happiness.
Right. Which definitely is out of the mold.
Yeah, I mean,
Breaks
like,
the mold.
well, I mean, like, not many people will have that experience that I had to go to farming, and but like, I looked at myself like a lot of times actually when I was in Hawaii, and I see all the stuff that was going on with the pandemic and all the protests, the Black Lives Matter stuff, and I'm just like, people are suffering, people are in pain. Like, why do I deserve to be here when everyone else is suffering? And then I said, I do deserve to be here because I set myself up to be in this position, because of all the things that I've done before to be in this and channel this mentality. So I do deserve it. And I had to really harness that feeling, because I could have let it sway me out of there and I could have made myself suffer just because other people are suffering. But at the end of the day, if I have a gift and I have this opportunity to do something, I should make the most of it.
And because then you could really genuinely help other people.
Exactly.
And truly help other people.
Exactly. And that was my thoughts. It's like, I want to learn. And this is like, it wasn't just to go out there and have fun. It was really like, I want to learn, like, and it was mainly really, my initial thing was I want to learn how to grow food so I can teach people how to grow food, because I feel like that's empowering. When you learn you can take control of your health if you know how to grow your own food. So if you live in a food desert, or it's not available and it's expensive, you know how to grow food. It's not a problem. So, I mean, I definitely want to intertwine that into my coaching down the line. But yeah, you're correct. It's like, I'm not helping anyone if I'm not utilizing the opportunity to actually, that is given to me.
Right. And it's funny you mentioned that, because during the pandemic, when I knew if I baked bread, I would eat it. And no one needs to see me in a moo-moo, because that's where this would have ended. Okay. Like, carbs and I are not friends. So I started researching other things, and I didn't, I've never been that good at gardening, but I bought one of those hydroponic, I don't even know what the word.
Hydroponic.
Yeah. So I grow lettuce now inside.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I did little videos. I was like, oh my God, it's coming up. And like, I still, like in the morning, it's like, there's this beautiful, and somehow I got an herb. So there's this random little herb, like real gardening. I'm like, I don't know where you are, but you're cute, and I'm going to be joyful that you're here.
Oh my, that's awesome. I love it. It honestly, and just the way you described it, there's so much joy and I think there's so much joy in watching something grow and tending to it and nurturing it. And I think that's the same growth I'm talking about when I watch my clients grow. It's like, I'm nurturing them, and they're growing, and it's like, I'm getting that joyous feeling. And even like yourself, when you start seeing yourself grow, like you're making, and you see the progress, you see it, and you're just like, wow, like that's like an amazing feeling. And the end of the day is like, the growth will never end, like especially with ourselves. And even when I was growing plants, I realized like I probably would never be there to taste the fruit. But in my honest opinion, the fruit was in the growth, watching it grow and progress. That would have just been extra fruit, like really extra. But everything else was like, that was the real growth, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And just the people who will benefit from all the work that you do.
Yeah, and I had to remind myself that too. It's like, I'm planting these seeds for like future generations, and that's a powerful feeling when you're putting that, especially when it's the foundation. Like, no one else had anything there before, and it's like, now people that come, they won't have to do the same labor I did, because the land is tilled and everything, etc. And I think that was what always the lady that ran the farm said. She was like, you are like the godfather. And but you know what, honestly, like, I think that's why I was such a good fit for that place, is I love building things from scratch, and just really putting in that labor, and especially manual labor. Like, I actually, there's such a greater feeling for me. Like, I had this greater connection with, I did a lot of like physical labor there with, like, the pickaxe and stuff and like swinging it and carrying buckets of soil. And I was like, this is actually the true meaning of like working out.
Right.
Like you're getting a multi-purpose. You're working out and you're growing food. I said, they didn't go to the gym. Like we have to go to the gym now because we're not doing anything with our hands like we should be doing, like we're because we have all these technology advances and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So, in reality, it's like ingrained in us that we should be doing this type of this stuff. And I think that's where when I had that connection to it, it just felt really, really right. Like it was like I was made to do this. That's what I felt like.
That's amazing. And that has to come through your work. Because then because the other part too is, is when you faced your own shadow stuff, when you faced your own demons, when you faced your own fears, people think that it's so easy to do that, but it's scary, it's terrifying, it's painful, but we all do it in different ways. And then we're like, oh wait, we can do this. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. I think it's a lot of people aren't willing to put themselves in the position to really challenge themselves and face themselves, and because it takes time, it takes energy. You got to peel the layers off, and I've kind of like at the beginning when I started doing that, the best way to put it is I'm a person that goes all in, and when I want to like, especially what better thing to go all in on than yourself, to be honest. And and I think that's like where, even when I got back from Hawaii, like what you said is I just started seeing like things in that same like flow state and connection of like I'm made to do this, to pass this information along, to like one of my goals is like to public speak. Like I'm great at writing, and I've always loved writing. And it's like, and I feel like my writing is it connects with people really well because I just am authentic with like my storytelling. So a lot of times when I look at things like what is my superpower, it's like it's being able to connect with people and share my personal experience so they can feel it too.
Well, I think you could write like your own version of Eat, Love, Pray.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that. I was thinking that too. I actually, like, I watched that. I never saw that before until I came back from the Hawaii, and I watched it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "That was like exactly what I just did."
Yeah, I know. I have a friend of mine between us, we both traveled all over and have when you travel, I think it teaches you and you grow and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had issues with the movie because I think there were a lot of codependency issues that were never addressed. But hey, that's I'm a therapist, so I'm going to analyze that shit. But there was some really beautiful messages, of being able to learn, hey, we all need that support. We all need someone to believe in us, and check it out. And whether it's therapy and coaching, or whatever it might be, of just knowing. Someone once told me a long time ago, we all deserve to have our own support team. And for example, when I was starting in my business, that meant having a good financial planner, having a tax person, having, a wellness plan for my wellness, having a business plan. And it was really difficult for me to learn that having those things meant I was taking care of myself. And that being healthy so that I can really do what I love to do and work with people, meet with people, support people, and, do what I do.
Yeah, no, it's, I think that I'm very much the same way. It's like, cause you want to do it alone sometimes because, it's like saving, like, I think I had this kind of epiphany when I hired a business coach like a couple months ago, and I've had a business coach in the past, but I think when I dove in this time, it was really, I was really clear on what I want to get done. But it made me think like, I can do this alone. I'm big into money saving too. Cause like a lot of those things the stuff that you just said costs money. A lot of people don't have the money. And if they do, they're spending it on other things. But I kind of looked at it this way. It's like, if I don't want to spend it, I can spend my time and my energy trying and maybe losing my mind and not even working out. Right. Or I can invest into these things and save the time and save the energy, which will end up probably creating more money, and it will actually end up balancing out. So it's like, I think we're often not looking at the cost that's involved in not having those things, because it's we're always focused on the monetary cost, or like, or hey, like we don't deserve this and we shouldn't spend this. But at the end of the day, do you want to spend more time and energy and not even know maybe the things that you would know bringing a team in? You know, like there's a, and I think that's the thing, is we just need to kind of really identify those things on a grander scale rather than just looking at it one way, because I was missing a lot of that stuff before. It was like, okay, I don't want to spend the money, I'm going to do it alone. But then I was driving myself crazy and I wasn't getting anywhere.
Right. Well, so before we end, I just wanted to ask, how can people get a hold of you if they would like to talk to you or do the 30-minute free consultation and see if it would be a good fit? What would be the best way to connect?
It's a 1-800 Wellness Wingman. Not yet.
One day.
One day. You can go to my website, philipmangan.com. I do offer a free 30-minute coaching consultation, also a free ebook on how to build a healthy morning routine, which I truly believe is the foundation for wellness, is really starting the day off in control, and starting the day off rested. So it includes on how to set up that nighttime routine as well, so you can get consistent sleep. Because if you're not rested, how can you be your best self?
Right.
And if anyone's interested in checking out my Instagram page, it's kind of where I post a lot of my coaching stuff, little tidbits. It's Philip Anthony Mangan. You can see some of my modeling work there too, if that interests you. Some of my farming work as well.
Yeah, fun.
So, and then whoever knows, follow me along, wherever the next adventure may be.
Yeah. So before we end today, I got one last question for you.
Yes.
So as we wind down on this amazing episode of Friday Night Feels, what is one thing that you would like people to walk away from this discussion?
Well, I would like to say that I truly didn't become at this point. You see me being able to have all the feels and feel good and be elevated at this level. But honestly, I never got to this point until I ended up being able to own all sides of my story and really opening myself up to others, even getting real with my own self and really channeling my vulnerability on a greater scale. And that meant stopping numbing myself, whether it was numbing myself with alcohol, which I did a lot of during my party bus business, or other people numb themselves with just noise, the people that are around them, with the news, all these different things, and connecting the dots on a greater scale, unlocking emotions that I didn't even know I had in me. And I couldn't imagine not being able to feel those things now, because those things make you feel truly alive. And if you are not feeling all those feelings, not having the Friday feels or any day feels, then I highly suggest taking that time for yourself each and every day, slowing down, quieting the noise, opening your mind, get a journal, document stuff, and just listen to what you need and what changes you need to make, because we are smart people. We are smart. We know more than we think we do. We just got to listen to ourselves. That's all. Got to listen to ourselves.
Silence. Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining, and now you're part of the Friday Night Feels. So I hope you come back sometime. We can catch up and talk more.
Hell yeah, I would love to. I appreciate it.
And everyone else, thank you so much for watching or listening. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks on Friday Night Feels. Take care.
Peace.